Hello once again on Cowboys Insiders. As the Dallas Cowboys remain one of the most active teams in this NFL offseason, the following are tenuously a campaign for the Dallas Cowboys NFL draft. The front office made a series of changes to try to return to a contention after a long time without winning a Super Bowl. After securing the biggest steals of the offseason, the Cowboys aren't done making a moves. The upcoming draft could present them with opportunity to create a terrific wide receiver trio. On the other hand, they could part way with one of their star receivers as the George Pickens saga continues. Elade Hanson of Cowboys were named a receiver, one of the five most tradable players on the Cowboys lineup. So on the Monday, Hanson named five potential trade chips for Lone Star, a Tarpin, a three-times Pro Bowler, made the mini list. The Cowboys tried to expand Tarpin's role in 2026 in the same way it worked, and in other way it failed. Tarpin has shared his time between the wide receiver and special teams unit, and in 65 games of Tarpin's play he played, he has caught 70 passes and 952 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he has tiered 624 yards and 1 touchdown on 70-point returns, while adding 3,518 yards and 1 touchdown on 127 kickoff return. Jerry Jones is not going to fire himself from being a general manager of the Dallas Cowboys anytime soon. That does not mean he should not feel a little pressure to nail both of his franchise's first-round picks in this year's NFL draft. It's crucial for the Cowboys to come away with a difference makers at the NFL draft number 12 and NFL draft number 20 if they want to emerge as viable Super Bowl contenders in 2026. Expect the Cowboys to think long and hard about using both of the round 1 selection on defense. The offense led by a quarterback, Dak Prescott, has the potential to be a top 5 unit in the NFL if their key players stay healthy. The defense, in sharp contrast, would love to secure a top half finish when the regular season is said and done. So, there are many players that the Dallas Cowboys NFL draft needs in 2026. The Cowboys require or have to sign a linebacker, the edge and the cornerback. Nabbing a playmaking linebacker in round 1 could do a lot of the boost the unit overall of effectiveness. Securing an edge rusher to help ease the loss of the Micah Parsons could also be a top priority for Jones and his front office. Finally, landing a true number 1 in the NFL draft corner would help everyone fall into a place for a Dallas secondary. The key for Jones is to make sure he doesn't take any responsible gamble in the first round. So, if Akem Mesdo was 25 years old, the Cowboys might be justified in sprinting to the podium to snap him up to number 12 instead. He is 25 years old prospect that should be avoided by a savvy front office on round one. This is not a knock on Mesdor's ability to make an immediate impact in the plus. He projects as an above-average pass rusher who can also set the edges against the run. The problem here is that he will be pushing 30 at the ends of his rookie contract. That greatly diminishes his potential value for a franchise that needs to hit on a same second contract in this year's draft class. Taking a Mesdo out of the mix might push a Dallas out of the edge rushing market in round one, but focusing on cornerback and linebacker would be a solid pivot for the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys should let someone else grumble on a rookie who will be older than apparently on his new teammate from a previous draft classes. Omar Cooper Jr. is not a potential replacement for a George Pickens. It's reasonable for the Cowboys to consider taking a wide receiver in round one if they believe a George Pickens will be out of their future price range. Team like the Eagles regularly gets kudos from the media by making a draft picks to fill needs that might not pop up to another 12 months. A former Indiana standout, Omar Cooper Jr., is a good enough wideout to merit a serious consideration somewhere in a middle round one. From a pure value standpoint, he would be a reasonable draft pick for a Cowboys to consider. The potential mishap for the Dallas is that Cooper is not like replacement for a George Pickens. Some scouts think he might be able to hold up on the outside, but his skill set will be much better utilized in the slot. The same can be said for the current Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb. So no one should complain if the Dallas goes for receiver in round one, but they need to focus on player who can live on a perimeter. Cooper doesn't fit that description and could be allowed to fall to another team. A former Auburn star is relatively a young prospect who has all the athletic skills NFL defensive coordinators want to see from a draft prospect. The problem with his fit in the Dallas is that he doesn't have enough burst off the line of scrimmage to really supercharge the defensive line. Falk played outside in the college, but his lack of speed on the perimeter limited his ability to lash the passers effectively. There is a strong chance that the Lions' share of his pass rushing reps in the NFL will come from the tackle spot. The Cowboys' need on the inside is not as severe as their lack of the justice on the court side. So, also, the Dallas Cowboys want to sign to NFL draft those players from the college is Brandon Sears and Zion Young. So if you didn't make subscribe, please make subscribe of Cowboys Insiders in order to get more breaking news and NFL draft on the Dallas Cowboy. So the Dallas Cowboy on the way of signing a Brandon Size and Zion Young on round one. Finding a starting outside a cornerback in round one is an absolute need for the Cowboys in this year's draft. That does not mean they should reach for a lesser tier of the corner if the top tier of the defensive back go off the board before the number 12 picks. The Cowboys should instead approach this cornerback class as Jermud Emsco and Mansour Delan all boast in round 1. A Brandon Seas might appeal to some NFL decisions maker because of his excellent athletic profile, but his lack of polish should force him down into a round 2 or beyond. The Cowboys should absolutely be a player for a series and other corners after they exit the first round. But reaching for a starter at the position of the needs is a good way to win a draft class. A Seas and a handful of other corner might go off the board in the round 1 after McCoy and Delam, but the Dallas doesn't need to be a team that makes that mistakes in this NFL. The next one is a Zion Young. Zion Young, the value of productive edge rusher in the modern NFL, gives a former Missouri star Zion Young a little chance to hear his name called on a day one. His excellent motor is going to make him a favorite for defensive coaches who prioritize a culture and effort over athletics gift. That's useful philosophy to deploy on the middle round, but it's recipe for disaster in round 1. This draft class is littered with defensive ends who have more upside than Young. Many of those speed players will be available on round 2 and beyond for a savvy NFL talent evaluators. A Young is a good bet to carve out a long, productive NFL career, but he is a poor bet to develop into anything more than slightly above average starter. That's not enough upside for the Cowboys to gamble on round 1. Young is a player who should be left off the Dallas board until the round of 2 at the absolute earliest. And also, Cowboys restructure 3 contracts including a Dak Prescott to create $66 million in the cap space. The Dallas Cowboys restructured the contract of a quarterback Dak Prescott, a guard Tyler Smith, and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb on this Wednesday of the next week, creating a little more than $66 million in immediate salary cap space. These moves have been expected for a while, as the Dallas need to get under $301 million a salary cap for 2026 season in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens isn't the only headline talent in a search of the contract extension from the Cowboys this offseason, as the Brandon Aubrey openly has discussions with a team as well. The first team All-Pro kicker was given a second-round tender by a Cowboys in a match, meaning he could negotiate with other clubs, but the Cowboys have a right of the first refusal and such can match any offer he receives to keep him in the Dallas. Should they opt on not match it, Aubrey would depart and team signings him would give the Cowboys 2026 second-round picks. As it stands, however, the Cowboys front office isn't planning on not having arguably the best kicker in football around the coming season. So there is many reasons why the Dallas targeted Tyrann Mathieu. The Cowboys defense have been aggressive and explosive in recent years. However, postseason exits have often exposed a moment of miscommunication in a secondary. So Matthew directly addresses those concerns. He is an elite football IQ, and Matthew is known for leading offenses before the snap. He studied tendencies, formation, and quarterback habits. His anticipation often puts him in a position to create a turnover. Turnover production for Tyrann Mathieu throughout his career. Matthew consistently forced a turnovers, interceptions, and forced a fumbles and fumble or recoveries. A Dallas value a takeaway and adding a proven ball hawks fit a perfect into that philosophy. The leadership and locker room influence for the Tyrann Mathieu to sign with a Dallas Cowboy. Perhaps the most important parts of this signing is a leadership for Tyrann Mathieu. Matthew have been described by our teammates as a vocal but accountability, a demanding yet supportive and emotional intense but disciplined. This means Tyrann Mathieu is the one among the most disciplined player in the National Football League. He has experience in high-pressure playoff environment, a younger defensive backs in a Dallas which will benefit from his preparation, habits, and mental toughness. In a playoff football, communications errors are costly. Matthew specializes in eliminating those errors. Adding a Matthew could change how the Cowboys call a games defensively. With his ability to disguise a coverage, a Dallas can show a single high safety and rotate a late. A blitz from unpredictable angles, a shift between a zones and man coverage seamlessly. Also create confusion for opposing quarterback. A quarterback must now account for a Matthew on every snap. If they underestimate him, he make them a play. Dallas has had a talent for years, but a playoff success requires composure and leadership when the game slows down. Matthew has played in AFC Championship games, won a Super Bowl, and defended elite quarterback. That experience is invaluable. He knows how to prepare for the January football. That knowledge cannot be taught, it must be lived. Expectation over the next 3 years, the Cowboys expected a Matthew to anchor the secondary, a mentor younger defensive backs, and increase a turnover production